Some people leave behind love letters. Others leave warnings. But sometimes those warnings are traps. Bait carefully laid for someone who may never see it coming. Before we start, like this video and comment where you are watching from. Your support helps us to bring more powerful stories. Now let's begin. The small town of Maple Hollow, Ohio was the kind of place where the loudest scandal was usually a neighbor's new paint color. That changed on the morning of October 12, 2023, when Officer Dana Carlisle responded to a welfare check on Rebecca Cole, a 35-year-old school librarian loved for her kindness and home-baked pies. The call came from Rebecca's co-worker, Lori Jennings, who hadn't heard from her in 2 days. The moment Dana stepped into Rebecca's white-clapboard house on Willow Street, she froze. Rebecca lay motionless on her living room rug, a dark stain pooling beneath her head. Next to her was a leather-bound blue journal, its last page still damp with ink. In bold, shaky handwriting, the last entry read, "If I'm gone by the time you read this, it's because Ethan finally did what he always said he would. He told me there would be no escape. Please believe me." Detectives would later learn Ethan was Ethan Marsh, Rebecca's ex-boyfriend, a man she'd broken up with 6 months prior after what friends described as a terrifying relationship. Detective Michael Rourke led the investigation. Ethan was brought in immediately for questioning. He was tall, confident, and unshaken as he said, "You're wasting your time. I wasn't anywhere near her." He claimed he had been at Charlie's Sports Bar from 7 p.m. until midnight on the night of her death, surrounded by half the Friday night crowd. Surveillance footage from the bar confirmed it. Ethan was indeed there, drinking and laughing at the exact hours Rebecca was believed to have died. The coroner's report revealed Rebecca died from blunt force trauma to the skull, consistent with being struck by a heavy object. Time of death, between 8:30 p.m. and 10 p.m. The murder weapon was missing. Detective Rourke felt the frustration growing. The victim's own journal named Ethan, but the science cleared him. Maple Hollow was buzzing. In the diner, people whispered about how Rebecca had told her book club she was being watched. At the post office, someone swore they'd seen Ethan driving past her house weeks earlier, slowly, like he was casing it. But alibis are powerful shields, and Ethan's was ironclad. Detective Rourke met with Rebecca's best friend, Hannah Laird, a nurse who lived 3 streets over. Hannah insisted Rebecca had been terrified of Ethan, convinced he would hurt her one day. She even bought a security camera, Hannah said, but she never figured out how to install it. Said she didn't want him to know she was recording. Rourke searched the house and found it. A small Wisecam tucked behind a stack of board games in a closet. It wasn't connected to Wi-Fi, but it had a memory card inside. The footage was old. Most of it showed weeks of mundane life. Rebecca reading on the couch, feeding her cat Milo, baking. Until one clip stopped Rourke cold. The grainy clip, dated 3 weeks before Rebecca's death, showed someone entering her home using a spare key. The face wasn't clear. The figure wore a baseball cap and gloves. They didn't take anything. Instead, they walked straight to the kitchen, opened the freezer, and placed something inside before leaving. Rourke visited Harold Benton, Rebecca's elderly next-door neighbor, hoping for leads. Harold mentioned something odd. "The night she died, I saw a black Ford pickup parked half a block away. Didn't recognize it. But I did see a woman get out. Blonde hair. Didn't go to Rebecca's door, went around back." Rebecca's younger sister, Claire Cole, flew in for the funeral. Tear-streaked but composed, she admitted something shocking. "Rebecca told me, if something happened to her, look under the floorboard in her bedroom closet." There, Rourke found a locked tin box. Inside, photos of Rebecca with bruises, notes with timestamps about Ethan's threats, and, most chilling, a printed one-way ticket to Phoenix, Arizona, for the day after she died. The bruises in the photos were weeks old, not fresh. And the ticket? Bought 2 months prior. Not the kind of thing someone on a run from immediate danger would keep in plain sight. Rourke started to wonder if Rebecca's journal was telling a story she wanted found, rather than the truth. Digging into Rebecca's financials revealed she had recently changed her life insurance policy, doubling the payout and naming Claire as the sole beneficiary. It wasn't illegal, but combined with the suspicious camera footage, It made Rourke think of something darker. What if Rebecca planned to frame Ethan? Rourke's tech team found one more saved clip from a night of Rebecca's death. It showed her alone in the living room at 8:20 p.m., moving the camera slightly, as if angling for a scene. Then she placed the blue journal on the table and sat down, crying. She whispered something to herself, barely audible. "He'll pay for what he did." Minutes later, the back door creaked open. The figure was shorter than Ethan, with a more slender build. As they stepped into better light, the camera caught a partial reflection in the glass cabinet, blonde hair tied back. Rourke recognized the shape of the jaw instantly. Hannah Laird, the best friend. Hannah was brought in. At first, she denied everything. Then, when confronted with the reflection's still image, she broke. "She asked me to do it," Hannah said, trembling. Rebecca hated Ethan. She wanted him locked away forever. She thought as she died with her journal blaming him, the police would have no choice. She said her life wasn't worth living anymore. She was tired. According to Hannah, Rebecca planned every detail. The bruises, the ticket to Arizona to make it look like she was preparing to flee, the hidden notes, even the angle of the camera. Hannah was supposed to hit her once with the antique iron bookend from the shelf, enough to cause death quickly, then disappear before the police arrived. The missing murder weapon? Found in Hannah's garage under a pile of blankets. Rebecca believed Ethan's alibi would collapse under emotional weight, but she underestimated the reach of security cameras and the clarity of truth. Instead of Ethan behind bars, Hannah was charged with second-degree murder, and the journal that was meant to condemn him became Exhibit A in her trial. Claire was devastated. "I lost my sister, and I lost the image of who I thought she was," she told reporters. Ethan refused all interviews, but through his lawyer, he said, "Rebecca was the love of my life once. I wish he found peace instead of revenge." In Franklin County Court, Hannah pleaded guilty as part of a deal, avoiding life in prison but facing 20 years. The prosecutor called it a tragic example of how love, fear, and vengeance can twist into something unrecognizable. The final footage, Rebecca adjusting that camera, tears streaming, still haunts Detective Rourke. "She wanted the world to see her as a victim," he said quietly. "But sometimes the victim is also the architect."